Blessings. Welcome in. I hope everyone is doing well. I am Mel. So I have a few messages coming through that Spirit would like to address. And some of it's going to be a little bit of heavy energy, but it needs to be spoken about, at least from Spirit's perspective. And it's a learning lesson, okay? But before we get into it, I would like to set the intention. It is with my soul's highest intention that all messages be delivered directly from Source. I ask that all messages be delivered with 100% pure light, love, compassion, honesty, truth, integrity, and clarity for all. I command that no lower vibrational frequencies be permitted within this space. Only love resides here. And so it is. All right, let's jump in. Like I said, there's a few messages that are coming through that need to be addressed. First thing, I got the song by Radiohead, Morning Mr. Magpie. And this is, it's actually unfortunate what I've been shown this morning. It's unfortunate that people are still playing in these lower dimensional realms, that they are still playing in 4D and astral planes, and they may not fully be consciously aware, and some are very aware of what they're doing. And Spirit's just, they're kind of fed up. They're like, come on, guys, we're in totally different new pathways. We're in a totally different world. It's like shit or get off the pot, because it's not going to fly anymore. And I spoke about Mayat the other day, about cause and effect. The universe will course correct. The universe will correct and right the wrongs if you're not willing to right your wrongs. So, Morning Mr. Magpie, and I'm going to read the lyrics. We're going to break it down, and then it goes in, because then the fairies were calling me. It seems they want to add on to this thread in this discussion. So it says, you got some nerve coming. Excuse me. Clearing the throat. You got some nerve coming here. You got some nerve coming here. You stole it all. Give it back. You stole it all. Give it back. Good morning, Mr. Magpie. How are we today? And now you've stolen all the magic and took my memory. You know you should, but you don't. You know you should, but you don't. Good morning, Mr. Magpie. How are we today? Now you've stolen all the magic, took my melody. So, as you can see, this speaks of taking things that are not ours, or that are not given to us freely. When we look at the magpie and the meaning of it, magpies are very intelligent birds, right? Incredibly intelligent birds. They're very much like crows and ravens, and they tend to be cunning. What was interesting is that they have the tendency to have a bit of a trickster energy. So beware of the trickery. It says, in spite of perhaps because of their incredible intelligence, magpies are often regarded as negative omens of deceit and trickery. They steal crops and shiny objects, and some have even been known to pretend to be injured or pull the tails of other animals to trick them out of their food. Words have power. Magpies are chatty, communicative birds. They're so communicative that they can start to imitate sound in its environment. Even the sound of cars, cell phones, lawnmowers, or people talking. If the magpies suddenly appear, it's a sign from the universe to pay attention to the way Communication is going on within the world. It says, it encourages you to speak your truth and warns against idle chatter. To me, I'm getting this vibe of chatty Cathy, a little bit of gossip, running your mouth, this, that, and the third. It's a human condition. And again, in this space, there is no judgment. We are working through energies, okay? This is not I'm just channeling and interpreting these messages, okay? This is not my personal, although I may add some personal, and I will let you know. It says, beware of materialism. So it could be that that bit of trickery is to attain something that that person does not have, okay? So if we're taking things from others without the permission, it would behoove us to question, where do we feel, or are we feeling lack? What is it about that other person has or has attained that you feel the need to take that from them? So I was a little thrown off and disheartened when this was brought to me, that in short terms, there are still individuals that are trying to steal other people's codes, their key codes, their builder codes, their magic. And that just, I can't fathom that there are individuals that would go to that extent, okay? The reason I started this channel was to share key codes, remembrances, fire letters, knowledge, wisdom, freely. So for anyone to feel that they need to steal someone else's magic and gifts, they're really not standing in their highest integrity, okay? So this is kind of big that Spirit wants to bring that through. And we're going to work with this energy, and we're going to unfold it a little more. And here's the thing, guys. Those that are incredibly intuitive, they're able to see a lot of things. And they may not address it. Okay? But they're highly aware of what goes on in the ethers and behind the scenes. They hear, they sense, they know. And we have to be really mindful of the cause and effect of our actions, of the things we say. We talk about it all the time, about the spells we're casting, about the words we're speaking to other people, the thoughts, the emotional triggers that come up for us, and then we're projecting on other people or what have you. But again, this threw me for a loop. I'm like, wow, there's people out there that are still playing in this distortion, these lower energies to get one up on somebody, to succeed in their own life, so they feel they need to steal someone else's magic. So because it has to do with magic, I guess that's why the fairies were calling. So to fair warn you, some of these images are pretty intense. They're pretty grotesque. But it is what it is. So if this is not something you want to hear or listen to learn from, to find the moral of these stories, that's fine. You can click off. Don't take it. If it doesn't resonate, there's other places, there's other spaces that you can tap into. But I'm just bringing forth other spaces and places that people don't understand they are creating and they are working in from a unconscious behavioral sense, okay? So when I open this up, I was brought to the perfidious Pook. Okay? It definitely is a type of sprite. Mischievous, no doubt. And I've been picking up on this mischievous energy lately. So it's unraveling and it's expanding. And I'm just getting more information on this energy. We're going to read, though. Okay. The perfidious Pook. This false fairy manipulates humans into pretense and hypocrisy, inspiring lies and deceit. It throws a glamour over all things false so that they seem plausible and worthy. So, and then I opened up to this guy, the Piscog Puka. So it's there's a Pook and then a Puka, which is interesting. Pisog Puka is the Irish name for fairy glamour. So we were talking about glamour and more glamour. So they're enchantments. They're enchantment spells. And sometimes, you know what? Again, we're unconscious of the spells we're casting when we're learning to work with our magic. That's why it's so important. When you are working in your space, you have to contain your manifestations. Nothing comes in, nothing goes out. And if we're not being aware of that, and we are still learning, because in this land of Oz, again, we're all babies here. We're all learning. We're all remembering. Okay? And we come into these spaces where we get humbled by the universe. And I've talked about that before. The Pisog Puka, the untrustworthy prince of Pisogs, weaves spells to bemuse our sense and confuse our judgment. He is a master of the arts of illusion and delusion, holding up a distorting mirror to reveal the bad in the good and the good in the bad. So there, again, it's this glamour spell. It's almost like someone putting up a mirror and showing you that you're a bad person. You're etc. You're good. You're not good. It's a reversal type of magic. And you know what? Yeah, I got that earlier. Of course. Let's extend on that. The path. Death. It's done. It's over. So whatever has happened, whatever has manifested, has manifested. It is what it is. There is no going back. It's done. It's dead. Now, we learn from our mistakes. We take that learning lesson and we go forward, okay? Now, if we continue to play in these spaces, we're just going to start a new cycle. We're just going to pick up where we left off. There is no growth there if we're continuing to play in these falsehoods of creating spaces. And here's the thing. There are very powerful people out there. There are very intelligent people out there. So intelligent that they are very haphazardly utilizing their gifts. And in the end, it does harm other people, okay? They know when you're trying to tap into their fields. They know when you're trying to step in their space. And if you have betrayed or done them wrong, They know. And I can't emphasize that enough. Yes, of course. Of course you would show up. Again, this is that energy. I spoke about her before. The washer at the ford. She's an omen of that death card. Where'd it go? That's so funny. Well, it's not funny, but sorry, I'm a little shaky because this energy's intense, and it's just not happy, and everything that we're speaking about goes against the code. It goes against fairy codexes, that for one thing. Okay? But death's appearing before us. And I'm going to read this again. This is the washer at the ford. She is perhaps the most feared of all fairies. The Irish known her as the Banshee, a fairy woman who keens and wails in the night, foretelling death. Death is just a metaphor of an ending, a transformation, an ending of a cycle, an initiation, sometimes into the dark night of a soul. She's coming in to humble, to show the lesson, so that we don't keep repeating and propagating these energies. In Scotland, she's the washer at the ford, washing the grave clothes of those about to die. Her shadowy figure appears to each one of us at some point in our lives, bearing an irresistible summons from another world. Sometimes we refuse the call for a while, but eventually we must follow. And this goes back to, come on, computer, the Radiohead song. So she's coming, or has came, to certain individuals, and they were refusing the call. It says, you know you should, but you don't. You know you should, but you don't. This is basically saying, we know what you've taken, and it's time to give it back. It was not yours to covet. Yet if you ask, it will be given to you freely, purely out of love. You know you should, but you don't. You know you should, but you don't. Good morning, Mr. Magpie. How are we today? So I'm gathering, and what I'm feeling is, due to actions and such, behaviors that were not of integrity, there are some individuals receiving what they've given out. Let's see. Sometimes we can refuse the call for a while, but eventually we must follow. She holds out a vision of our past. Does it shine with joy? Or is it clouded by too many things we neglected to do? The Death Fairy awaits, ready to lead us into a future of our own making. A future of our own making. What we've created, we now reap what we sow. We must take her hand. It is time to go. All right, this is intense. fairy glamour. Yeah, it's a lot of this is just being mindful of what we're expressing, especially in the company of others, what we are saying, our judgments. Judgment is yes, it is a human condition and we all tend to judge. But that does not mean it gives you the right to judge behind curtains. It's this playing in good and bad, and this is what this book is, good and bad. But technically, there is no good and bad. It's the perception of what we believe to be good or bad. And I find that judgment is very much like envy and jealousy. It's a trickery energy. Why one must feel they need to infiltrate spaces and places in others' energy, consciously or unconsciously, in order to, that's what I keep hearing, covet what others have. When you are a conscious creator, you can create it for yourself. You don't need to take from other people or ride their coattails or push them down to make them feel a certain way so that you can rise and stand upon them. It's a very ugly, ugly energy that's being brought forth. And I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. I'm sorry to bring forth these energies. But I would not be standing in my integrity, my highest light, if I were not meant to be a voice for the voiceless. You hear a lot of things within the silence. You see a lot of things because we see beyond the veil. So now, how do we resolve this? Let's find a resolution. Let's bring this back into love. There's no reason for retaliation when we become aware of what's been going on behind the scenes. We find a solution. We see it through compassionate witness and understand that at that moment, we're working from a lower aspect and energy. And it's okay. That's how we learn. Be forgiving. Okay? It's a very humbling experience when we make these mistakes. And then we see the return on what we sowed. Then we recognize, I won't do that again. It's not worth it. All right, so how do we want to resolve this, fairies? The Frog Queen. We had the frog come up the other day, too, on the compass. Let's read the Frog Queen. There in the inner realm of fairy, this Frog Queen is surrounded by earthy and watery companions. The little impulses of her nature, and one little whim that needs to be pampered. Pignut, the pixie, laughs and says she hasn't even got her croak to her to keep her warm. The others groan, oh, I see, Well, let's read that again. Pignut, the pixie, laughs and says, she hasn't even got her croak to keep her warm. The others groan and roll their eyes, while the Frog Queen smiles her secret smile. Because she knows. She knows. The giggles, the laughter, the judgment. But he or she knows. Remember that, my friends. The queen, I love you fairies. The queen has left her crown and robe behind. For today she's going swimming in the well of inspiration, the well of wisdom, the well of knowledge. Some call it the well, or healing well, or the need well, for it provides you with what you need. Through your imaginations, we can follow her into the well, let her leap be yours, and swim downward into the dark, soothing depths. Many faces peer down at you from the distant surface of the well, fairy thoughts and impulses that you must leave behind. Name them if you can, then let them go, and leave them at the surface. Follow the Frog Queen deeper and deeper, and all you no longer need is washed away. It's that washing again, the washer at the ford. It's the initiation. Let go. Release. Deeper, deeper, deeper. Darkness gives way to a golden glow, surrounding you with pervasive warmth as a rich golden light permeates every part of your body, every part of your soul. Rest here for as long as you desire. Then ask the fairy for whatever you need most. Her gift takes the form of a radiant golden ball. Hold it in your heart, and its buoyancy will lift you to the surface once more. That golden light of the heart. It's a breath of fresh air. As you break through to the air above, the ball has become a part of you, radiating fairy warmth, light, and power deep inside you. As you emerge from the well feeling light, refreshed, and clear, remember to thank the Frog Queen for her help. She will reply that you are welcome to return to the well anytime you need to. Oh my God, I'm going to cry. This is beautiful. This is stating what has been given before, and it was mishandled, it was mistreated. Here's the forgiveness. Come to me to the well, to my springs that I offered. I understand what has been, what has happened, yet I forgive you. She will reply, thank you. You are welcome to return to the well anytime you need to. Going to the depths, the experiences that the death. Going into those places where that initiation took us because of our discrepancies. Fae and the elementals, the creatures of nature, they understand the laws of the universe. and they work in harmony, symbiotic relationship. And they realize what comes about when we are not acting out of integrity. But in order to hold balance between realms, forgiveness and love is part of that harmony and balance. The understanding of our learning experiences. All right, we're going to read this, and then I think we're going to close this out. I think we've made our point, and we're at like 30 minutes, and I don't want to go any longer than that. It says, well, this footnote is more of a leg note. For the Frog Queen has barred the legs of a frog, the most favored and noble of all fairy companions. Frogs were known as the healing lords of the earth to the ancient Celts of Europe, symbols of good luck and robust good health. They were sacred to Hecate, the Egyptian midwife of the gods, representing fertility and rebirth. Wai Ching Hua Shang, the Chinese frog spirit, symbolized vision and subtle understanding. Frogs were a sign of harmony between lovers in Greco-Roman myth. They also represented sensuality and were the companions of the nymphs. Frogs were magical rainmakers in Aztec myths, Aboriginal lore, and the folk tales of many African peoples. In European fairy tales, the frog or toad was an agent of transformation. Princes hid in frog disguise, and frog wives conjured magic of the heart. In alchemy, the jewel concealed in the toad's head symbolized spiritual truth, reminding us that the outward appearances can be deceptive and that hidden rewards can be found in the most unpromising material events. Fairy magic, yes. Can be used to create a facade, a disguise, to cloak for what we perceive as good and bad. Okay? Again, it's being mindful of our intentions. Where are we working from? Are we working from an ego? Are we working from a lack mentality? Or are we actually intending and seeing it from an all perspective, everyone that's involved? Because everything we do and we create is a ripple effect. It has a ripple effect. And we all, because we all are one, it's a very simple concept. We all will be affected at some point in time because of these creations. So I hope this is helpful. I hope this makes sense. This needed to be voiced, apparently. This wanted to be brought forth. And going forward, let's all work from the highest integrity, the highest light of our being. This ascension, the energies, our remembrances, our DNA activations, these threads coming online, these strands, we are remembering our gifts. And a lot of us are remembering where we did not utilize those gifts in the highest light before. And some are here again to relearn that lesson so that they can make a better choice this go around. I'm being shown this is a lot having to do with south nodes and our north nodes. Okay? So Some of you may want to look into your south and your north node energies so that you can see what kind of lessons you are relearning this go around. Okay? And if you're unsure, call on your teams, your guides, your higher self, and ask for that assistance. You will be shown in very magical ways. Okay? I'm sending you all off with much love from the depths of my well. Forgiveness, prosperity, new creations, life force on your journeys forward. But within this moment, I call my energy back. As I close this space and everyone returns back to their universes. Take care. Bye.